All right, welcome to Knox Makers. This is our Tuesday. We start every Tuesday off with a show and share. This week we have quite a few shares, so we're going to go ahead and get started. The first share is Andrew, who's going to show us a bike rack.
All right. Am I close enough? All right. Anyway, so yeah, I made a bike rack. I am a mountain biker, but soon to be a bike packer. I have bike frame building aspirations, and this is kind of the slow, easy way, quote unquote, to get into bike frame building. This is the combination of 3 different zone trainings and about 20 hours probably of work. It's funny, I always get up here when I do these things and I feel like I need to just point out my mistakes, but I'm not a professional, so I'm pretty proud of this thing. I braze welded it, which I didn't know how to do 3 days ago. And I custom bent all the tubing myself. This is 4130 chromoly tubing. And it's been kind of a labor of love, I guess, not logic. But so I'll show you. You can kind of see, this focuses in a second, doesn't it? I don't really know. Maybe. But do we still pass things around with these? Okay. Once you get up close, you can kind of see the color of, I use bronze braze to attach the tubes. I mitered all the tubing myself, and then kind of just made my own design. Like the legs of this have water bottle mounts going down. So, yeah, this thing seems like it's going to last a long time. I guess I just have to field test it. But yeah, this has been a really fun project, and I can't wait to do more of this stuff. Like I said, I didn't really know how to braze. It's not quite welding. It's more like soldering, but with heavier metal as your filler. And honestly, Joe Hall, the metalworking czar, he didn't really know how to braze either. So we both kind of had an experiment night, and this was the product of it. And now he wants me to lead a class. So, so anyway, yeah, bike rack. I guess I'll pass this around. Feel free to, I don't know, look at it, hold it up.
Does this just bolt onto your bike?
Yeah. So it's not in its complete and final form yet. This will attach down by the wheels, and then there will be 2 additional bent tubes that attach up to near the top of the fork. So this is going to be in front of the bike, and then it'll have a light mount right here that's going to be powered off my front hub. So no batteries, which is pretty cool. And yeah, I'll also be able to charge my phone off my light. So it's just, I have some long distance bike tour aspirations. So hopefully this takes me across the country at least. So anyway, yeah, bike rack.
Very cool. That's very cool. I love how you got conned into teaching a class now for us, too. All right, next up is Gus T. Is that right?
TT Showbiz.
Gus TT Showbiz. Yes, with a blood chorus?
Yep.
Okay.
Hello, everyone. Now, I'll first show you an axe.
That's how you do it.
You press the button with the plus and minus symbols.
Nice.
That's how you go zooming out. And now, I'm wondering if you're wondering how to invent an axe, but I will take you through the process. To make an axe from raw resources, you must first reinvent the universe. And then once you've invented the universe, you've technically become a god, which makes you able to create one of these, which you'll need wood, a sander, time, patience, a will to create, which I'm sure most of you have, paint, and expendable limbs. And an ability to create a language that both is comprehensible and taps into mental resource of reality. So once you've created all those things, you've officially created an axe. And once you've created an axe, you can give it a cool name. I've named this Blood Chorus because it will spill the blood of many, even though it's just made of wood. So, as I pass this around in a few seconds, feel free to attempt to chop someone's arm off. I want to see how it goes. That is all. Now, don't cause a blood chorus.
All right. Thank you very much. Next up, we have John P., who's going to show off hacking lights.
Hey guys, so I was with my goddaughter in Five Below the other day and I stumbled across these little lights they're calling beam lights. They're battery operated, they run off 4.5 volts, and that's all that's in the box. So it leaves you a lot of room to go in and add some circuits and some relays and make them do all kinds of fun stuff. My problem was I couldn't decide what I wanted to do, because if you hook the boards and the lights straight to the Wi-Fi microcontrollers, they're 3.3 volts, so you underdrive them, then they become kind of dim. If you add the relay in, then you can run them off of the full 5 volts coming off the USB, and you can actually add your power switch back in and bypass the relay and the board altogether if something was to happen to your Alexa. And the problem with that is these have a nice little slot right in here. Well, actually, you can see it on this part better. That's the perfect size for the little Christmas tree light style NeoPixels. And so this is actually the second one that I built. The first one was hooked up the other way and it was being underdriven, and the next step for it's going to be to add the NeoPixels. But I just think these are great that they've got all the room in it, and it was a fun weekend project. And thank y'all for letting me share.
Very cool. Is that a working prototype there?
It is.
We can-
I don't have the Wi-Fi and the Alexa here to turn it on.
Okay, well, okay. Thank you. All right, next up we have Lenore Haas, who's going to show off metal enameling.
Hey, yeah. So I'm gonna have to zoom. No, that way. Probably that back in the middle. So I'm gonna show you the final product first, and then tell you a little bit about the process. So this is what I came. Oh, that's upside down. There we go. This little chameleon. And so this is on fine silver, and it's done with enamel and cloisonne wire, which is also made out of fine silver. So this is a very blurry picture of kind of my setup when I got started. So I've got down here, you can see the chameleon I've started in progress, and then I have some little drawings of what I was doing the wires for, and then this is my enameling palette here. So I've got dry enamel here that I scoop in and then mix in basically like a flux for the enamel. Oh, sorry, I'm stepping on things. So this is what I'm talking about a little bit up closer. So I sketched out what I wanted it to look like with the lines, and then you can see where I started laying these little, the little tiny pieces of wire. So those get enameled onto the base silver. So this is just with a clear coat on top of it. And then I started to just lay the wires onto the piece. And so you can use poppy root, I think is what it's called, to like stick it on. And so you put that in, and then you stick it in the kiln. When it comes out, they will have like sunk into the glass a little bit, so they're stable. And then you can start filling it with enamel, like you can see here. So that's where I've done the first layer of enamel. And it's a repeated process because you put the enamel on wet, and so it goes into the kiln after it dries out, and it shrinks because it flows, and so it uses up less space. So you do it over and over and over again, build up your layers, and end up with that little guy. So So yeah, it took a really, really long time, but totally worth it. But I took like a 1 week class on this, and I got 2 pieces out of it during the whole week, and I was there like every waking hour. So, but yeah, I'm not gonna pass it around because it is very breakable, but that is what I do.
Very cool. Labor of love for sure there. Next up, we got David, who's going to show off a laser phone case. Yes.
Howdy. I'm David from Morristown Makers. I had a phone case that I got a couple years ago that, as you can see through it, that's got a plastic on the front. The back was the same, and it was just kind of boring. And we had just gotten our laser there at Morristown Makers, and I thought, well, I want to do something to dress it up. And so a friend gave me some walnut burl veneer, and so then I took and scanned the back of the case because it has the cutout for the camera and everything. I scanned the back of this and put it, just used a scanner, like a desktop scanner, and then stuck that into Inkscape, traced around it, got my dimension, size, and everything, and then cut it on the laser, and it cut the profile out, and then I added my initials in there. And so it was kind of a simple project in some ways, but it has been one of my funnest laser projects because it looks so cool. It makes the basic plastic phone case look fancier. And then I just used double-sided tape to stick it onto the back of it. So pretty simple, but in the process, what I learned was this whole idea of scanning something works so much better than taking a picture of it. Because when you take a picture of it, if you're off just a little bit, all of your dimensions end up being weird. And so then you try to adjust and everything. And I did a radio. It needed some veneer on it. The guy wanted it to match what was there, and it wasn't symmetrical. None of the lines were. It was all hand cut back in the 20s. And so we were putting new veneer on there. And I tried taking pictures, and I ended up just having to draw the whole thing. And so this was a lesson in using a scanner if you can to get the piece that you need. And then the guy brought me another radio this year, and well, I guess it was last year since we're only a couple weeks into this year. And I remembered the whole thing about scanning. So if you're trying to get something into Inkscape or into any kind of photo editor, that you need the exact proportions or you don't want parallax errors. That's what it's called when you get the image from the wrong angle. Just use a scanner to get it on there. So that's my phone case.
Very cool, David. Thank you for that. Next up is Arno, who's going to show us his beer can stove.
So I took this class over the weekend, and it's just making a small little beer can stove. This has actually Arizona iced tea, because that's what the instructor had. It's only 2 pieces of can, basically. You just cut off the bottom little section of it and assemble them together and poke some holes in the top, and it makes a nice little flame. So there you go. The flame ended up being way taller than I expected, so the can was only this high and the flame went up to maybe here. So probably best to not do that one indoors. All right, and I'll pass this around.
Thank you very much. And lastly on the list, we have Nick with a new instrument.
Oh man, okay. Okay, so yeah, I was supposed to do this in 3 minutes. My name is Nick Tackett, and let me get my phone. So, okay, we are symmetrical beams, right? Like you split us in half for a mirror image. And so I have designed an instrument that is based off the piano that is symmetrical. And the whole premise of it is that we are able to associate shapes and colors to express emotions. One thing I really don't like about, well, this is it's a mirror image. I'm going to play a little bit for you here though, is that like on piano, when we play a major chord, like a C major chord and a D major chord, they're different shapes, which is kind of crummy because we have the same emotional connection to those things. Oh, Mike, sorry. But so with this, if we do, this is the left hand, right? Let me turn this up. So whenever we have a major chord here, it's the same shape anywhere we go, right? So the way this is structured is that when we go up, this is the actual full thing. This is the full. This is so bad. Isaac just put this up to me. I didn't rehearse this at all. So like, it's kind of a lot to explain in 3 minutes. I'm gonna try to do that. But whenever we go up, this is perfect fifths, which is what all Western music is based off of. And then it's a matter of whether we want it to be a major chord or a minor chord, right? And the neat thing is that anywhere we go, it's a major chord in that shape, right? If we go on this side, on the outside basically of our hands, because it's a mirror image, and on the inside, it's minor. But we can go up forever, right? So it's like 1, 3, 5, 7, 9 for major, and then 1, 3, 5, 2, 7, 9 for minor. But it's the same anywhere, you know? And that's really neat, because like if you learn a chord, like a major chord, right, it would be like, you know, your index, your ring, and middle, then it's the same for your other hand, which is amazing, right? And like, it's totally cheating compared to piano, because on piano it's exceedingly difficult. You know, you have to learn all different shapes. And then like for the major scale, or just scales in general, because modes are just scales just starting at different positions. It's just like wicked easy. This wicked easy fingering, where it's index, pinky, middle, ring, index, pinky, middle, ring, and they alternate, right? On piano, like if you were to do scales, you have to constantly like use the same fingers over and over, and this way you get to repeat. You get to repeat. You get to use all your other fingers before you have to rotate back, right? Which is totally like way easier. So basically, the final design here, which is dun, 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 dun. I don't think this isn't gonna actually fit on here. I'm just gonna show this. And so the neat thing is that this is just 3 zones of 88 keys, right? Like if you look down here at the bottom, like this is B flat 0, B flat 0, B flat 0. So we have a copy of 3 pianos on this hand. And what's so nice about that is that like whenever you're going up, you can kind of tend to drift to one side, because since this is, I guess, one thing I should like emphasize is that like if you go up, I already said that's perfect fifths, which is what all Western music is based on. And if we go on this side, this is the left hand. If you go outward, basically, because you know this is a mirror image, right? If we go on the outside, I can stay on this side. If we go this way, this is major thirds, right? Which is, you know, major chords. That's why we go on the outside. And if we go on the inside, that's minor thirds, right? So if we're wanting to like climb up chromatically, we would go 4 semitones, which this gives you too much music theory. You guys, I don't know how much you guys really care about this, but the reason I was saying that is that like you have like, you know, like this is C2, right? And then you can go up to C3 with 3 major thirds, right? 1, 2, 3, or you can go by 4 minor thirds. So you can kind of start drifting across the board, right? Because you go like 1, 2, 3, 4. I need to do this on the piano up here. This is a little bit easier to follow, right? So if you're going up. No, my phone is too small. This is the thing, is I want to make this as a MIDI controller, and ultimately as a piano. Oh my gosh, this is so hard to grab. Okay, so right, and the reason I was saying that is that you kind of tend to start drifting off to one side sometimes. You can, and that's the reason it's so important to have this duplicated 3 times. Like if we were to take like a chord like D minor 3, you only have that in 2 places, because it goes over. So, oh man, how do I sum this up? So, yeah, I want to make this as an acoustic piano, which if we did that, it would be 6 pianos. It'd be 6 pianos. It'd be 3 for each hand. This is just a little prototype I made with a laser cutter, so that I can actually, you know, I can start practicing this, because, you know, I mean, I need to kind of get this muscle memory, you know, down packed. so yeah, it's very interesting because once you make it all isomorphic, which similar to like an electric guitar, as you play electric guitar, you have power chords, and you can just slide up and down the neck because it's isomorphic in that regard. At least the top 4 strings are, and so. What's nice is that once you learn a shape, like once you're like, here, we'll do some like arbitrary shape, right? Oh my lordy, right? Like if we, and also another thing I should mention is that the range is just retarded. Like most people, like even with like very large hand people, like I have a pretty large hand. I only can do like maybe an octave plus a major third, right? Like, and here's. This is to scale, by the way. On my phone, this is to scale, 22 millimeters, and per key to tip. That's 2 octaves, and it's honestly not a big deal. Like if I were to do this full thing, like golly, man, I can do like, that's 5 octaves right there. I know obviously that's ridiculous. That's 4 octaves, but you can do like 4 octaves like really, really easy. So it's amazing for range. And the nice thing is that when you have everything duplicated on both hands, you're not restricted by. You're not restricted by like if your left hand's playing the chords, you can play the melody in the exact same place, which is really, really neat. And then also I'm a drummer, so like I want to play like rudiments, you know what I mean? So like I can have both hands playing the exact same thing, and yeah, it's very, very interesting. It's
So you're working on a physical
yeah.
keyboard.
Yeah, as a physical keyboard, I'd like to make a MIDI controller first, and then I'm gonna make an acoustic piano as the real thing. But it's gonna be like really heavy because it's 6 pianos. But hey, it's pretty amazing.
How big will the keyboard be on this?
Oh, well, this is the thing, is that's why I printed these out to scale. This is to scale. This is actually to scale. It's going to be like this. And the reason I'm angling them the way that I am is because, how do I actually show this? It's like, as you go up, right? So like we'll start up, and so this is 3 88 key pianos, right? So as you go up, you start to drift. Now, I didn't mention that there's a second octave that you have to learn the fingering of, but it still alternates. I can show it to you. I don't want to go into like super detail right now, but basically you end up, as you go up, you're going from this C up here, and you're drifting all the way up to this C. So basically your arms are making this motion like this, and the reason that this is angled like this is because whenever we swing our arms, what am I going to do? Like go on the floor or something? I don't know. Yeah, this is terrible. Like, but as you swing your arms like this, our arms swing at about naturally at about like a 41.5 degree angle, which I know is like really weird, but that's just what it is. Like at least mine, but everyone's different. But so basically you align this axis so that like as you take like the bottom octave, like C1 to like C8, right here, you angle it so that this is making a plane at 41.5 degrees on both of these, so they coincide. So it's actually hella ergonomic, man. Like and like the buttons just like flow right underneath your fingers, and it's yeah. Now this is gonna be kind of difficult to do because the piano is made with levers because it's pretty easy to do. You just put a bunch of levers in a line, right? So like with this, I have to design some type of linkage where it's gonna be like, I don't know, cable driven or like some really weird levelers that have like multiple layers, but the real big problem is making the keyboard like a reasonable thickness so you can still fit your thighs underneath it because I want to be able to sit down and not stand. I want it to be basically kind of like low key replaced. Hey, what's up?
So if you had 2 large iPads, you could do it with 2 large iPads.
I could, and man, I've been thinking about buying 2 iPads and doing that with it, but it's like, yeah, I know, I totally could, and I probably should, but they're like $400, $500 a piece because I want to get the Pros, the 12.9 inches. And yeah, I'd love to do that, but the thing that's so crummy about this, you don't get the tactile feedback. You don't have the tactile feedback, right? And I really want to be able to feel the keys. The keys that I want to use will have like a dip in the center so you can kind of locate where each key is. And then the really nice thing that I didn't even mention is that that is totally wicked unfair to piano is that you can dun 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 dun. Oh, show no overlap. You can actually play chords with 1 finger, right? Which is totally not fair. That's a major chord, right? And so you can play these wicked big chords that are like a major up to a 13th and then like a minor, and you can take that anywhere, right? You can take that.
Something in your hands.
Right. Yeah, and it's just 2. But those are just 2 fingers, right? But all I was saying is that if you can do that obviously like what I just showed here. But it would be nice if you had you had the real keys and then you could actually feel where the keys are. But yeah, I know I really do want to do the iPad thing, and I might just go ahead and do it. it's kind of a lot of money, and I'd rather like kind of spend it on actually like building the MIDI controller. And I'm working with some people right now to hopefully bring the MIDI controller to life and stuff like that. But I've got to make like a custom printed circuit board and stuff like that, and like get the plastic injection molding, and it's kind of, you know. Anyways, I could rant for a minute. This has been more than 3 minutes, so I'm going to go ahead and go ahead and cut it. And thank you for listening. I really appreciate it, guys.
All right, well, thank you very much. You've obviously put a lot of thought into this. And so after we're done with the show, if you're going to hang around and anybody has questions, we're going to have open shop time, so they can come up to you and ask questions. That is the last on the list. Did we miss anybody? Last chance, going once, going twice? All right, so a few events and announcements. Coming up this week, on Friday, we have a woodshop class called Perfect Miters and Splines. Brian's going to be doing that Friday at 7 p.m., so if you're interested, sign up on our website. Saturday, we have Inkscape 101, which is the basics of Inkscape and drawing. That's going to be at 10 a.m. Tracy's going to do that. And then at 1 p.m. on Saturday as well, she's going to do Inkscape 201, which goes more in depth of some of the things that you need to do to use it with the laser. And so if you're interested in learning Inkscape or going into more detail on Inkscape, sign up for that on our website. And then on Sunday at 10 a.m., Brian's going to be doing a hand-cut dovetails class. So that would be really cool. Next Tuesday is our annual members meeting, right? That is the only Tuesday of the year. We're not open to the public. That will be a members-only meeting. So if you're a member, you're encouraged highly to join that. This year it's going to be virtual, including, and during that meeting we will go over some announcements of the year and a new referendum to vote on. And then after that, we'll open up voting, which will be virtually this year, to members as well. In the member storage, you may have noticed that a lot of things are falling off the side or falling into other people's storage units or storage spaces. And so we're going to have a new storage rule coming up that everyone's member storage has to be stored in a tote. We will have some totes for sale, I believe, after next Tuesday that you could get them here or you can get them on your own. But be aware that's coming up. That's all the announcements that I have. So with that, that's the end of our show and share. Let's go out to the shop and have fun.